Someone in my house. I never believed in haunted houses. I used to laugh whenever someone claimed they heard footsteps in the dark or saw shadows moving across the walls. I thought those stories were nothing more than tricks of the mind. That was before I moved into the small, old house at the edge of town, a house that taught me belief is not a choice when something decides to make itself known. The rent was suspiciously cheap, far below anything else I had found. The landlord told me the house had been empty for years, that the last tenants left in a hurry, abandoning most of their furniture. He didn't explain why. I didn't ask. I was broke, desperate, and the silence in his voice when he handed me the keys didn't register until much later. The first night was uncomfortable. The air inside the house was unnaturally cold, even though it was the middle of summer. I kept hearing faint scratches along the walls, as if something crawled inside them. At times it sounded like slow, dragging footsteps above me, though there was no second floor, only a cramped attic space with a low ceiling. I told myself it was nothing, old wood shifting, pipes groaning. But the noises grew sharper each night. Whispers bleeding through the walls. The distinct click of a door unlatching somewhere down the hall. The soft creak of the staircase as if someone heavy was climbing it, though I lived alone. One evening, while reading near the window, I noticed movement in the glass's reflection. Behind me stood a tall figure. It didn't move, didn't speak, just stared. My body froze, breath caught in my throat. I spun around. The room was empty. The reflection had lied, or worse, told the truth. That night, I dragged the mattress into the living room and tried to sleep with the lights on. But light didn't matter. At around 3 a.m., I woke to the sound of breathing. Not mine. Heavy, deliberate, coming from just beside the couch. My eyes strained against the brightness, searching. Nothing. The sound stopped when I sat up. But I knew, deep down, something had been there. Days passed, and the house seemed to grow aware of me. Objects shifted subtly when I wasn't looking, a chair angled differently, a picture frame tilted, the kitchen door left ajar though I always shut it. Once, I returned home from work to find all the cabinet doors standing wide open. Another time, every single light bulb in the house had burned out simultaneously. I considered leaving. But money held me prisoner, and some stubborn part of me clung to the idea that I was imagining things. That was until the notes began appearing. At first, they were scribbles on scraps of paper, left on the kitchen table or tucked beneath the front door. Words written in a jagged, uneven hand. I'm still here. Don't look behind you. The attic. I tore them up, threw them away, told myself some local kids were messing with me. But the handwriting looked disturbingly like my own. One stormy evening, the power went out. The house plunged into blackness, except for the faint glow of my phone. I heard movement above me, slow, deliberate footsteps in the attic. The same attic I had never dared to open. Something inside me snapped. I was tired of being hunted in my own home. With trembling hands, I found a flashlight and pulled down the narrow ladder to the attic. The wooden rungs groaned under my weight as I climbed. The air grew colder with every step, carrying the smell of dust and rot. My light cut through the darkness, revealing cobwebs and forgotten boxes. At first, nothing. Just silence. Then I saw it. In the far corner of the attic stood a chair. On it, a human-shaped figure slumped forward, its skin pale and stretched thin like parchment. Its face. God, its face was my face. An exact copy. Dead eyes staring through me, lips parted in a grin that never belonged to me. I stumbled back, nearly dropping the flashlight. The figure moved. Its head twitched up with a crack, bones popping, that awful smile widening. It whispered in a voice identical to mine. You finally found me. I bolted down the ladder, heart hammering, but before my feet hit the floor, I felt a hand brush my shoulder. Cold, I slammed the attic door shut and pushed the nearest bookshelf against it, chest heaving. From above, something pounded on the wood, again and again, until the whole ceiling rattled. Then silence. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep the next either. The pounding stopped, but I heard movement throughout the house. Sometimes in the kitchen, sometimes in my bedroom, sometimes just outside the bathroom door while I showered. Every time I opened a door, I found nothing, but I always felt eyes watching, following. The notes returned, more frequent now, scattered everywhere. You can't lock me out. We share this house. We share this body. It wasn't just in the house anymore. I began noticing things at work, my coworkers claiming they saw me in places I hadn't been. A neighbor waved at me one morning, saying he'd seen me standing in the upstairs window the night before. My house doesn't even have an upstairs window. I started avoiding mirrors. Too many times I caught my reflection smiling when I wasn't. Too many times its lips moved though mine stayed still. The breaking point came last week. I woke up in my bed though I was certain I'd fallen asleep on the couch. My hands were covered in dirt. My clothes smelled of damp earth. On the nightstand sat another note, scrawled in that same jagged handwriting. I showed you where I sleep. Now it's your turn. I don't remember writing it. But it was signed with my name. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. The house doesn't feel like mine anymore. Sometimes I think it never was. Sometimes I think I was the intruder all along, and the thing in the attic is simply reclaiming what belongs to it. When I lie in bed, I hear it breathing next to me. Sometimes I feel the mattress sink as if someone lies down beside me, perfectly mirroring my position. When I close my eyes, I dream of walking through the house, touching walls that pulse like veins, hearing whispers that sound exactly like my thoughts. The worst part? I'm not sure where I end and where it begins. The notes are in my handwriting, the whispers in my voice, the reflection in my face. What if the thing in the attic wasn't an intruder at all? What if it was me all along, waiting, watching, biding its time? Last night, I heard myself laugh from the kitchen while I was in bed. Not a chuckle. A full, hysterical laugh, loud enough to shake the walls. When I finally found the courage to get up and look, the kitchen was empty. Only a single piece of paper lay on the table, written in calm, steady letters. You don't live here. I do. And now, as I write this, I can hear footsteps in the hallway. Slow. Patient. Getting closer to my room. The doorknob is turning. If I don't finish this, if someone finds these words, know this, the house is not empty. It never is. And if you move in after me, you won't be alone either.